my first question for you is, what is the main thing you feel was holding you back at 25, and how did you overcome it?
Oh, such a good question. You know, the main thing I feel like that held me back when I was 25 is I was somewhat bitter towards a lot of people in my life for moving on. I felt like I was stuck and that other people were like doing better than me, and it made me like I was resentful. But I feel like me growing as a human is just realizing that people have different paths in life, and it's okay if somebody, goes and gets married and moves away. That's their path, and that's great. It just took me a little while. It took me a little while to just accept that, yeah, because I was like so lonely for I feel like a long time, and I was like, I wish these people were still here.
Okay, my next question is, what is one career or life risk you regret not taking when you were in your 20s?
It sounds kind of silly, but I was obsessed with being in a band and like trying to make it in a band and like tour as a musician and stuff. And I think that I let my own insecurities and nervousness get in the way. If I could change it, I would tell myself like, just try. What's the worst that can happen if you try?
What non-negotiables have you set for your life, and how have they shifted over time?
A non-negotiable that I set in my life. I feel like some non-negotiables for me are like who I surround myself with has to be like good people, right? Like accepting people. I don't need to agree on everything that we both agree on, but I do not tolerate racism. I do not tolerate like people being homophobic, especially because so many of my friends are gay or trans. So like I have like a zero tolerance with that. But I feel like just as long as you're like a good person, I can take a joke every once in a while and stuff, but like being just a good person, like people who are actually like deeply racist and stuff, like I just don't have time for in my life.
Yeah. Okay. What is one thing you wish you understood about success at 25 that you know now?
Excellent question. Waiting for the bell. I feel like you are really, really pressured to go through high school, get out of high school, immediately start college, get through 4 years of college, already know what you're supposed to do with your life, get that career job, and you're like, what, 24 at that time? Like, you've already done all that. I feel like success is like, I had said, we all have our own timelines, and we all have our own paths. I just think that, when I was 18, I may have thought at 25 I need to have everything in my life figured out. And now I'm 33 and I'm still like, life, you're constantly figuring it out. You don't need to be like, I'm 25, I should have had my career and my whole, college finished and drive a really nice car and all that. It's like, no, we all have our own paths. Yeah.
What is one piece of advice you would give your 25-year-old self regarding career choices?
I would tell my 25-year-old self to stick with it, because I was 25 when I really got serious about going back to college. I dropped out a few times because it got really hard for me. First time I dropped out, I was like, I'm going to make movies, and I'm going to be a director. I don't need school. And then I dropped out. And then I went back, and I was like having a really hard time with math. And I was like, I'm done. And then I finally was like, no, I'm going to do this. So I was like 25 when I got serious on going to school. And so when I think back on this, like literally this student teaching semester, when I was 25, it just felt like it was never going to happen. And so now that I'm here, if I could tell me, I would just be like, it's gonna happen and it's gonna be one of the greatest experiences that you will ever have so far in your life. Just do it and keep going, because it'll happen someday. Time moves on, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, you can either be stuck doing the same thing or you can try and better yourself. It's like the years will keep going. Might as well be in school or finding a good job that you like, you know.
Yeah. Okay. How did you figure out what you wanted to do with your life, or are you still figuring it out?
Well, I like to think I figured it out because I always thought I wanted to be a teacher, and people told me a lot. They'd be like, "You'd be a really good teacher," but I graduated with my degree in 2022, and then I didn't go back to start my credential till last January, so this January of 2025. So there was like a 3-year gap I didn't do anything. And when I finally went back in 2025, it was literally because I watched a YouTube video of these 3 students. They wrote a letter to their teachers that they had in high school. They've probably been out of school for like 2 or 3 years. They literally just wrote a letter to their teachers, and it was so sweet. And you could see the impact that that the student made on the teacher, and that the teacher made on the student. You could tell they both made an impact on each other with that. I was like, okay, I do want to do this. So I signed up and I finally did it. Yeah.
That's nice. Okay. What is a mistake you made over and over, and what did it teach you?
I'm a big procrastinator, so I'm always learning from my mistakes of procrastinating. But it also has taught me to when if I'm in a tight deadline, I'm really good at getting things done in that tight deadline. So as much as I want to say next time when I have a project, I'm gonna do it early, I know that's just not me. So being able to still get it done and giving it an excellent job, even if I do it at the last minute, still did it.
Yeah.
But I think that and just trying to be on time to things. Yeah, because I can be kind of a free-flowy person, and so sometimes I'll be late to things, and so that's a big thing I'm learning. Is just be on time. Yeah.
Okay. What is one step I can take in my 20s to ensure I don't look back with regret?
Oh. I think that if I were to tell you an advice on that, your 20s are a very, very fun time, but they're also a really difficult time because, like I said, people go different ways. I feel like 20s are a pretty lonely time, and so if you expect it and all I can say is you will make new friends. If you get up to a point where you feel like you don't have friends, you will make new friends. If you don't like your job, you will find a better job. I think the beauty of your 30s, and I've even heard this about your 40s, is you kind of care less about what people think. And I think in your 20s, you, especially as a teenager, you care a lot what people think, And I think it kind of goes into your 20s. So just trying to kind of care less about what people think, and then really loving yourself. I think that's a hard thing to achieve, but it is so freeing when you finally get to a point where you actually are I could just hang out with myself today and I'd have a good time because I love me. I could go get dinner by myself, I could go shopping by myself, and I don't mind because I like myself, Yeah.
That's the end of our interview.
Oh,
Thank you.
you're welcome.